Okay, so I would like to do a video on why harassers and stalkers need people who seek their approval. Because at the root of their stalking and harassment is a sense of entitlement. They feel that they're entitled to your time, your energy, your resources, and that allows them to violate you, whether it's through abuse, whether it's through invading your privacy, looking through your things, investigating you. They feel that they are entitled to that. And most of us don't. I mean, if you ask someone a question and that person doesn't answer or says, that that's private, most of us say, okay, and we back off. These people cannot and do not because they don't have healthy boundaries. So they really are seeking people who are codependent and who will allow them to violate their boundaries. That's part of the problem with dealing with these types of people. Those types of people usually do not have healthy boundaries themselves. So some of it is rooted in their lack of boundaries. If you are a healthy, normally developed person, you do not want to invade other people's space because you do not want your space invaded. But most of all, you don't want to be with someone who would allow you to walk all over them. So when you are looking at these types of personalities, you really are looking at people who they themselves do not have healthy boundaries. They usually are in relationships that aren't healthy relationships, or they're not in relationships because they cannot maintain healthy relationships. That's part of the issue. Part of this issue is that when you're dealing with people who can harass someone else, whether it's, in this case, I think these are professional harassers, and that's a whole other issue. When you deal with people who are harassers, it's like anyone who has someone who isn't respecting their boundaries or violating them in some way. These are people who do not realize or maybe do not care or cannot control their issues. And that's what makes it dangerous and an unsafe situation. Because if you cannot control your urges, you are someone who is likely to continue to pursue someone who obviously isn't giving into your demands or isn't reciprocating your feelings or doesn't appreciate the unwanted attention. And that's part of what this is. When you are around these types of people, they tend to be very judgmental. And I don't mean that in a way where it's like, oh, that person just said something. No, it's more about control and dominance. Because I think in their minds, this really is a dog-eat-dog world. A world where, a very Darwinistic world where those survival of the fittest, the people who are most able to survive are the ones who win in the end. And that's what really makes it sad, that if you have that worldview, then you don't mind hurting vulnerable people. You don't mind taking from the little guy or a disadvantaged group. And what's so sad about it is that these people tend to be very hypocritical. They're publicly charitable, but privately not. That's the best way I can explain it. So publicly they put on the facade of being very charitable, generous people. And that's usually how they lure people in. But privately, they're the opposite. They're very, they use money as a means of control, as a means of keeping you tethered to them, as a means of dominating you. So that's where I'm coming from when I say Harassers need people who seek their approval. Thanks for watching. I'll upload some more videos soon.